and never take the higher road. There's no hope for a narcissist, that's what I'm told. Trying to be the bigger person, man, it gets so old. And just hope for something to put her in check. And smash that ego, bring her down to reality where sanity is found. Instant karma, instant karma, instant karma, so I can see.
What's good, world? So today I had to submit my documents in response to request for production. So I thought I felt a little inspired to do a video on request for production. Let you know what it is if you don't know, and just outline the basics of what makes it up. So a request for production is basically when any party, petitioner or respondent, your ex or you, sends a request to the other party legally. You know, it's drafted up legally like the motions to the court, and it's a request for documents. I believe this is my third request for production that I've had served on me. And it can ask for anything, but I do think there's a limit to how much you can ask for. I believe in Colorado it's 21 points, 21 questions, 21 requests. Now, the attorneys I've faced have been creative, and sometimes they'll slip in multiple requests under one single request. So let's say social media, they've requested of me any and all of your Facebook posts, any of all of your Twitter posts, all of your Instagram, basically everything that falls under social media. So that's kind of a, what do they call it, pigtails or something in politics, where they slip a bunch of things in under one bill, one question, one request. So there is a limit to how much you can't just be totally absurd and ask for everything. It has to be relevant to the case, to the specific motions that are going to be looked at. But that's all it is 1 through 21-ish requests for you to produce something. So mine have been everything from social security records back till I was 18 years old. Paycheck stubs, benefits, health insurance, medical records. Let's look at mine right now. So this is the one that I was just sent, or just responded to. Copies of all communication between me and the PC, who's our parental coordinator. I just did the video on that. Or anyone from his office. So that means all emails, all communication. When I produced that, I believe there was 160 some emails between us, totaling 470 something pages. So my request for production was about 500 pages long. The emails were the longest response I had. Let's see. Documents evidencing any plane flights you have taken from January 1st, 2014 to date. Copies of any notes, memoranda, writings, photos, or videotapes you or anyone on your behalf has made related directly or indirectly with respect to your parenting time with your daughter from January 1st, 2017 to date. This would include, but not be limited to, personal visits, phone calls, FaceTime, contacts with your daughter. Of which there are many. I wear a spy cam every time I'm around my ex because of our history and the extreme. I was accused of domestic violence, false claims of domestic violence, and what saved me with that was that I had a video of the incident. And so once I learned I could not trust my ex, I started wearing cameras for protection, which I advise to any male out there, any male or female, but men especially, if you're facing somebody that is a narcissist or a cluster B or just unethical in any way, shape, or form, which a lot of the high conflict custody cases, there's just a lot of manipulation, a lot of foul play. So make sure to take care of yourself, protect yourself. Men aren't awarded the same protections as women. We don't have the Duluth model and Violence Against Women Act and things that are inherently designed and trained and educated around to protect us. So things like false domestic claims, false claims of any sort, which statistically they know go up significantly if there's a separation of marriage, dissolution of marriage, divorce, separation in general, but especially if you're dealing with parental alienation or any type of cluster B. So let's see. Copies of your paycheck stubs from your current employment received 2018 to date. Copies of employment applications and all other documents submitted to your current employer to obtain employment. A lot of these they're doing because they're petitioning for a change in child support as well. Documents evidencing use of any individuals who care for my daughter in my absence from January 1st, 2014 to date, whether or not compensation was paid. So you get the idea. Basically, you're just asking for anything. It could be financial based. It has to be related to what the motion before the court is. And that's what a request for production is. A request to produce things that we feel might help our case or help define how much you're making if they're talking about child support or alimony or any of those kinds of things. And someone asked me the other day, about the legality. Is it legally binding? So it's just a request from you or the other attorney, which in itself has no backing. That being said, what comes after if you don't follow through, if you don't produce documents for this thing and they believe you have it or believe you're intentionally not giving them up, the next thing that you or they would do is file a motion to the judge or to the court for a motion to compel. And that's to compel you to produce said documents. And then the judge can look at it, think it's relevant or irrelevant, and either order you or not to produce those documents under some penalty of the court. Contempt of court is the most obvious, which could be, that punishment could be lots of things, from financial punishment to jail time. So that's request for productions. You ask for something, they have a certain deadline. I think mine was 21 days or 30 days. Might have been 31 days, I'm not sure. And it gets funny, like the end date, if it falls on a weekend, then it's the next business day. That's what mine ended up being today. So, but it's somewhere around there, somewhere around a month, something that's semi-realistic to get the documents. That being said, for those of us impropria persona or representing ourselves, pro se, whatever, yada, yada, it's a lot of work. We're not getting paid $300, $400 an hour to compile documents and put them in a thing that looks presentable, that's bullet pointed, that's articulate. So it's one of those things that can really be time consuming, can just start to wear you down. I call it busy work. I think they do a lot of this just to give you work to do or give you bills to, up the cost of the whole fight. I know with my situation, that was one of her tactics, was to run us out of money, which I ran out of money to pay for court stuff. So we spent over $100,000. I fired my lawyer in the middle of a hearing and continued representing myself after that point. I started off representing myself, had 2 periods where I had attorneys, and now for the last almost 2 years, I've been representing myself again. So doing that type of work, it's intimidating and daunting, especially if you don't have help, if you don't have anybody to give you insight into formatting and even what a request for production is. So that's why I'm trying to do more of these videos, help get the basics of what I went through in these last 4.5 years. It's almost been 5 years. My daughter's 4. We've been in court since before she was born. So just getting the basics out there for you. I want to do these short videos, have them concise if I can, and hopefully they're useful to somebody out there. As I say, knowledge is potential power. I wish that I knew what I know now. Hindsight's 20/20. So for other people out there, maybe going into family court, high conflict custody court, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, if you're dealing with somebody who's an alienator, parental alienation and the hardships that come along with that, much less a manipulator or a cluster B or some type of personality disorder, psychopaths, and just crazy people that are unethical and willing to do whatever it takes to beat somebody or get their wants, their selfish one perspective ways. But we try to keep it positive, keep it solution oriented. Education is one of the solutions, but also encouraging us to be strong, be ethical, be moral, lead by example, be the change we want to see, and use our brains, use our hearts, use both of those brains to problem solve and lead the path and teach others the way that we want to see the world. So that's what we're doing. I encourage feedback, suggestions, questions, comments. If there's some topic you want me to cover specifically from what I've experienced in my case, I'll be more than happy to do that. And as always, I encourage people to be good humans. Be good to yourself. Treat yourself good. If you're in high conflict court, do self-care. Drink lots of water, lemon water, magnesium. Take walks, take baths, take Epsom salt baths, magnesium baths. Help soak your muscles. Be good to yourself. Make sure you're eating right, getting sunshine and vitamin D, and laughing. Put on something to make you laugh, because laughter is medicine. So peace to you. If you're in conflict court, my empathy goes out to you, and I send you much love and positivity, not just for you, but those who we might so call our adversaries. They all need it. In fact, our adversaries probably need it more than we do. So be good to yourself and be good to the world. Peace and love.
It's all coming together right here now. It's all coming together right here now. It's all coming together right here. Who's that? It's love. Can you feel it coming through that? Conscious revolutionary music. Yeah, you can